And it was like the worst part about that, my lovely members that I'm continuing this conversation from offline with as a bid to get people to join so that you don't miss out. I had that segment happen and it was my last day and it would have kept me in the game for longer because it was so good. So what am I talking about? Hey everyone, welcome to Maude's Book Club. We are live at the moment. We're talking Bedlam, Eye of the Bedlam Bride. It is book 6 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl saga. We love it so much here that usually we won't continue a series too long because if new members join and they're like, you're up to book 4, and it's just really hard to get new members sort of like integrate. Catch! I forbid.
Wow, you're at even 1,200 now.
I'm at an even 1,200.
I just said that as well. I said that so forebodingly. I said that so, I had bass behind that. I forbid.
Language.
Please don't. Thank you so much. Catch22 has gifted 22 subs.
What?
He does it every single month. He is in the #1 gold spot for gifted subs there. KP Dubs is in the 2nd spot. Oh my God! Catch22 is also in his teenage angst years, listening to a lot of alternative rock punk music. He just dropped a massive donation of $122, if you must know. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, I would tell you to stop, which I have this whole time.
Did you not see the message that came with the tip?
And I quote, so yeah, I don't care what you say. That is rebellion in its finest form. Ray Panda, thank you for... Ray Panda, thank you for 36 months in a row. Toaster Poster, 41 months in a row. Says, hi Maude, hi chat. Lovely to have you here, Toaster Poster. My favorite part, Toaster, is that you read the books every single time as well, and you contribute so wonderfully in the chat, and I really appreciate you. Catch, on the other hand...
What?
He's very generous. I don't know. I already have blush on my cheeks, but now I'm getting more red. You're very, very generous. If I read out your name, Catch has gifted you a sub. Tom the Ginge. Here we go. We've got some doozies. Neckapanzer, CD and Eno, or CD and Dino, I don't know. The Blue Canary, Mercurial Ol, Lania, JCLL, Sean King 86. Get off me. That's weird. What's happening? Why are they on you? You know, like you could have chosen anything. It's me, Nixie, Philic Tamer, Marlad F, Neomatin, The Frostback, Bale Leet, Viper Edge, Matthew Butcher, Adam, Tiz Kane, Adamantis Kane, Cheerful Crow. Oh, do it. KP Dubs. I'll allow it. Do it. Cheerful Crow.
Do it.
No, he won't. He won't. We were doing Crow Cause earlier before the show. Billy Sunrider, 8-Bit Jack, and Starbound Agent. If you got gifted a sub, make sure you say thanks to KP Dubs, if I've read your name. That was KP Dubs. Thanks, that was Catch22 for that one. KP Dubs has come in doing a sneaky 5 after.
Hey, Maude, apparently you know who Get Off Me is.
Who's that?
In the chat, it says
It's in the chat. It says it's Jeff from
Jeff?
Softball.
Jeff, why is that your name? Jeff is he's our pitcher. Jeff is our pitcher in softball. Jeff? Very confused about your name. Oh, Jeff can talk about all the good glory stories that we have from softball, how we do themed nights, how we sometimes dress up. It's been my gamer tag for like 2 decades. What games were you playing?
Pod gamer.
The question still stands. Who's on you? Who's on? Is it camping? Wow. Okay. Oh, that makes absolute sense. Is camping. If you have not had someone camp your respawn in WoW and you've wanted to just scream, get off me, there you go. That actually makes a lot of sense. Jeff, I'm so glad that not only have I recognized or understood that it's you in this chat, but we've gotten to the The bottom of Get Off Me. That's fantastic. Yes, now this is Jeff learning for the first time that I am in fact a big gamer, and I did play a lot of WoW in the heyday. In fact, after I did like a 19-hour session and forgot to eat because I was so into it, I think at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I unplugged my PC, I left it on the side of the road, I went to bed, I woke up, I screamed, I realized what I'd done, I went to look for it, and it was gone, and it was the best and worst thing that had ever happened to me. And thus ended my WoW addiction.
Why did you leave it on the side of the road?
Because I couldn't have it in my place anymore. I had crossed the line. I didn't even format my computer. Someone's probably got great stuff. Like, good on you. When I say great stuff, I mean photos of my partying days. Might be some beer bongs in there. I'm not entirely sure. Kate's in the chat, everyone. Where's the rounds of applause? Where's the rounds of applause? We're a bit slow, chat. We're about there we go. We could tidy that up. There was a lengthy space. Beer bong is a town in Australia. It probably is at this stage. Beer bong is a pastime. Oh, we've got a new emote too. That's fun. Jeff says I'm better off. Are you still playing WoW, Jeff? We really need to have that conversation. We've only really talked about your music choices, work. You also love the yes, thank you. I'm rocking black milk as always. Oh, you're no longer playing WoW. What are you playing at the moment, Jeff? This is very exciting for me. Yes, black milk.
Welcome
This
to
is
book club where we talk about Maude's softball team.
Hey, I've actually spoken about my softball team quite a lot because
Does your softball team know how you feel about sports?
No.
Brilliant.
Jeff doesn't read very much. I know, I judge you for it. I have so many recommendations. By the way, these are the leftover beers from softball that I'm drinking.
Like that somehow matches your nails.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Anyway, we are digressing so much. Academic says Sprots. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not into sports. But I'm really into the softball community. I'm into that community. I'm not good at softball. This is the story that I tell everyone, Jeff. I'm not good. I'm the worst person on the team. Like sometimes I'll hit the ball and I'll hit it straight to someone and they'll catch it. Or I hit it straight to someone, they don't catch it, they throw it to first, I'm run out. I'm not strong there. But I have figured out how to be good at everything else. So I've befriended the umpire. We're like this now. Does that sway calls? Often. Yes. And that's a long game that I've been playing. I'm getting on her side. Other people piss her off, not me, never. And so when she's like, that was a bit close, Maude's team's fielding. Safe. That's safe. Except for the finale, except for our championships in the last one. She made 2 really bad calls. It cost us the season, and I'm so shitty that we're taking the team somewhere else. Anyway.
I'm going to kill your mother.
And I make sure that everyone has their song so that their song is playing when they walk up to bat and, like, you know, create the vibe. I have a kit for injuries as well. I make sure that we do warm-ups.
I think to play a support character.
I'm playing the support character and I buff. I'm buffing the whole team. I'm making sure that everyone's looked after. I'm healing, I'm buffing, but I am not attack. What's my song? Hi, Brandon. What's my song? Look, we started doing themed nights, so it started changing, but my theme song was the Pokemon theme song. I want to be the very best like no one ever was. And so when that plays and I walk out, like my favorite part is looking at the opposition and they're like, wait a second, is this Pokemon? And I'm like, yeah, it is. So I have Pokemon and then I'll rotate out the other song. Jeff's into very, very heavy metal and there's a few times that he's chosen a song and it has just been aggressive yelling. But hey, Jeff, if that helps you hit really well, which he does often, it's fine by me. It's fine by me.
Your new nickname can be Buffing the Umpire Slayer.
Very, very good. Very, very good. All right. So the book that we are doing for this month, our main book, which means we're only talking about the first half of it. The second half will be happening next week. Is Dungeon Crawler Carl. Now, this is a series that the club has absolutely fallen in love with. If you haven't read the book, I recommend the series more than anything. If you don't like reading, you'll love this book. If you're into video games, you'll love this book. If you're a bit nerdy about things, you'll love this book. If you don't like listening to books, you'll love listening to this book. Kate says, I got my dad obsessed with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Have we, actually, where is our Jeff? Our Jeff is not in the chat. Geoff. He's not here. Jeff hates all the other books that we absolutely love and can find fault with most things, loves Dungeon Crawler Carl. Lisa got her sister into it. I got my brother into it. This is a very, very funny book. Oh, wow. Brandon's in the
Speak of
chat.
the devil and he shall appear.
Really? Jeff's here? Jeff, were you secretly watching and then you heard me start to slander your good reputation in Maude's book club and decided to pop on in? Did you catch what I just said? Jeff,
You're muted, dude.
Muted again.
Oh no, we can't hear you. I basically said that even though you can find fault with most books, even books that we across the board love, you love Dungeon Crawler Carl. So the barometer is, if Jeff likes Dungeon Crawler Carl, fucking everyone loves Dungeon Crawler Carl. Like, there is no one. Oh, no, now you're deafened. Now you're still muted. And I'm going to drink beer while we sort this out.
Hold on. I just noticed that your swear count is at 1,063, which means I have gifted more subs than you have dropped swears in the chat.
That sounds so improbable. But you do 22 at a time. I sprinkle
It just seems like it shouldn't be that. I think the count is off.
Language.
Maybe I've been like trying to be a bit better lately.
I mean, for a little while, you're like, I'm not going to swear anymore. And of course, that lasted like, what, a stream or two?
I will say that sometimes the swear is warranted, and none of us will do the swear command because it was acceptable and warranted at the time. So you've definitely sworn more, but sometimes it's not this gratuitous. We let
That's what you slide.
Yeah, good. I was going to get a example of that, but I kind of feel I get the notion. Brandon just nabbed the first book in the series. You are going to have such a good time. Please reach out to me once you've finished it if you need someone to talk to about it. We've got a whole club here ready and waiting. Tiowen, first-time chatter, says this book series brought me here. Tiowen, where are you up to in the series? Are you up to book 6? Because we're about to jump in. Spoilers for the first half of the book. We're getting spoilers for book 6 around here. I know it's risky to do streams expecting people to hang around while we're going to talk about a book you might not have read in full spoilers, but here we are. We're going to do that. Kate says, and it finally has AI getting to interact with Carl's feet. Miss me with that moment. I did not need to hear it again. Billy Sunrider says, this book rules. Darren says, I got my dad to read it. You also got your dad to read Fourth Wing, though, so anything's possible, I feel. We usually start off a brand new book just saying, hey, you don't have to rate the book. We do that once we've finished the book. But initial thoughts, is book good? That's the question if you've been reading it. Is... Oh, okay, you didn't of course you didn't recommend Fourth Wing. Darren's in the chat being like, It was not a recommendation, even though you did read it as well.
Surprised when he messaged me that he was reading it.
Yeah, I found this book about dragons, and you're like, there are dragons. We did Onyx Storm last week. If you missed out, we have done all 3 books of the Fourth Wing saga as well. All right, is book good? Kate says, I can't believe you all read the whole Fourth Wing series. We did, all of it. You know I love that shit. Is that an acceptable shit, or am I going to get pinged for that? Well, 2 of them now. No, okay, that was unacceptable. Well, I did 2 of them. Shit. Academic says book is good. Tay says book is good. Tay, shout out to you for helping out in the Google Doc the way that you have been. She chose pink as the color and the document is just lit up with pink. Thank you so much for doing that. Absolutely wonderful. Usually that happens when you love the book. KPW says 4.99 out of 5. Well, we're not rating it. Oh, you've already read it. Why did you ding the 0.01?
Because book 7's better, so this couldn't be a perfect score. So I had to knock it down 1/100th of a point.
I mean,
My favorite part about this, KP Dub says anything indicating about a book is a spoiler. Whether you liked it, it's a spoiler. Whether you didn't like it, is a spoiler. And you have just ceremoniously outed the next book, which just came out a couple of weeks ago on Audiobook. It came out the end of last year. I love that. I love that. I mean, I haven't read it yet, and I'm very excited to do so, and I will be doing after this. Aaron says book good. Terry is rating it 10 out of 5.
Just in fairness, in my opinion, every single book has gotten better, so I don't really think that's a spoiler. It's just they just met him and just keeps upping himself. He's leveling up just like the characters. It's great.
You know how usually we notice with series there's a second book syndrome happening where the first one was so good and the second book just can't quite meet that standard? The fact that he is just getting better and better is such a testament to what he's created. I will say that. Terry, 10 out of 5. Talk me through that rating. Because I've got you right here in the Members Plus chat. Oh, you can't chat? Are you at work? No, you're not at work. Excuse me, that was burping. That was me burping. That was me definitely burping. I'm sorry about that one. All right, hold on. You said there's too much background noise. Oh, but did you just tell me why it was 10 out of 5? That's what I want to know.
It's just so damn good.
Now, that needs to be on the back as a quote. It's just so damn good. I love that. Colleen loves the book. Jeff loving it so far. Even that has an air of like, I could still be disappointed. There is still room. So far, so good. What are you loving about the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, Jeff? Have you got the sound to work?
I think so.
You sure do. There you are.
So I guess I just love it that it's just a super fun read. Like there's no seriousness to it. It's just like super light. I will say I've read all of this book and all of book 7 as well. I think this.
We've created a monster.
I actually disagree with KP. I think this book is better than book 7, in my opinion. I think book 7, we won't talk about that. Anyway, yeah, there are parts of this book. I'm trying to remember exactly when we were supposed to have stopped. But there are parts that I can't talk about just from personal whatever. You know, I don't know, trigger warning or whatever. But no, I love the books. They're fun. The characters are like not heavy, but super well defined. And the world is just super fun.
That's one thing that we've been exploring a lot, covering this series, that there is so much heart and there is increasing depth with these characters. They are very tangible. You are living in their sort of their brain, and it's a fascinating place to be. And the growth that continues to happen, it doesn't feel like there's character bloat. It is starting to get a little convoluted in the fact that there's so much happening. There are so many items. There's so much to take into consideration. Why is everyone laughing? Academic is pleading the fifth hard. The way those two hands shot up to be like, oh. Academic, your face when he said it wasn't serious or heavy. Oh, that's what it was. Oh, I'd love for you to weigh in about it not being serious or heavy, because the series is getting there, I think.
I don't know if it's, I'd say it's not serious or heavy. I think it's definitely irreverent, and I love that about this series. Obviously, this book, I feel like we full send it into irreverency, and it's wow. So I do really enjoy the irreverence, but I do think that it is, as we're obviously there are themes in this book. I also don't know where we were supposed to stop, so I just read the whole thing.
38.
38.
Stop
okay.
at 38. And
So definitely I'm not going to cover that part.
Okay, then no. So what's
the last things that happen are there's the big fight in the Desperado Club. They kill Astrid. And they go on Odette's show and pick their adjutant, and that's pretty much where we leave off.
And you kind of realize
they pick their adjutant, kind of.
Yeah.
Odette absolutely fucked Carl and Donut over. Yeah, in that particular moment. So that's when we learn. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's when we learn, yes, what happened between Odette and Mordecai. I do want to mention quickly what Tiwan said earlier. How can you hate a book series where the author takes a 1-star review and literally adds it to the next book? The chef kiss moments in this are just MK3 Swan, first time chatter. Thank you for the follow, saying, "Hi, Maude." And I always picture that, of course, as if it's Donut saying hi to Zev in the book. If you've listened to the book, you have been graced with excellence. You're very lucky. It's a wonderful place to be listening to these books. Toaster Poster says it's an easy read with characters that I love. We have been continually coming back to Dungeon Crawler Carl because it is such a palate cleanser. We love revisiting this series. Red Rising is absolutely well written and it's so well done, unless you ask Jeff. And that is a book that needs a little bit of a breather afterwards. It is a lot to wear. Jeff's realizing that there's just a no holds bar attitude happening here with Maud's Book Club, you know, like, and own it. And you have been, and we're owning it with you. But it's lovely to bring up at every opportune moment. Red Rising needs a little bit of a breather. We love coming back to Dungeon Crawler Carl because it's like coming home to one of those hugs that's like a little bit aggressive and a lot of backslapping, but you're happy to be there because you're so in, you know, that it's that kind of hug. It's that kind of hug. Let me get back to the chat. Kate says, when you start this series, you don't think that you would ever sob over the death of a crawler like what happened with Miriam, but that is the power of this series. Spoiler if you didn't read the last book. That one really got to me as well. That was such a beautiful moment. Kate also coming in with the spoiler if you don't want to hear it. Mute for 5 seconds. The second half of this book gets very serious. So we do have a lot of ebbs and flows. There's a lot of story to be told. They're big books as well. I think, what is it, like 22, 23 hours audiobook? 24 hours? Yeah, 24 hours. So you could, if you're listening to 1.0, which you shouldn't ever, I mean, each to their own. If you like to be spoken to like this, then that's your prerogative. But you could start and that's an entire day. So there's a lot that happens. Jeff, is this a mea culpa? What
It's back to 18 again, remember?
Oh, is this every time I bring up Red Rising and you can just be like, remember when you cried because Cassius got shot 18 times and so you gift 18 subs because 18 is the... He did it when I was interviewing Pierce Brown, but he did it like, what, 3 times? 4 times. You kept gifting 18 subs. And I'd be like, oh, it's 18. 18. I wept like a little baby. Someone asked me recently, when did you last cry? And I was like, over a fictional death, a fictional character's death. And it wasn't just any old cry. It was hysterically sobbing. And I played for, was it just the members or was it everyone that I played my voice message that I sent to Pierce Brown?
You played it for everyone
during the interview.
You played it for Pierce.
Okay, cool. So now everyone's heard just how much of a mess I was in all of that. Okay. Snores said, I almost quit another Patreon because they don't like Dungeon Crawler Carl. Who the fuck? Who? I'm not saying we should educate them and change their mind on this, but everyone's entitled to a different opinion. That one's wrong. I can say that.
Even if they're wrong, they're entitled to that opinion.
They are.
Yeah, I agree. And really, it hasn't come up much. It was just at the end of their 2024 wrap up. They were talking about the best books that they've read, and then they got to a point where they were like, oh, and then you can skip these ones. And one of them that they mentioned was Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I was like, what?
Oh, no,
What?
That's grounds for just an absolute permanent dismissal. And there's been people like that on Book Talk where they're like, if you love these books, and then they're like, you know what? This book you gave a 6 out of 5. Yeah, I'm not really into it. And I'm like, I've forgotten who you are. You no longer exist to me. It's wild how that works. Maybe I'm scared to have opinions.
it's grounds for permanent dismissal, but you let me stay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
random. Say
I'm
that.
not sure if you noticed. You've definitely cemented your status in this book club. I mean, if you hate Dungeon Crawler Carl, oh, you're not even fucking reading it.
I can't say I hate them. I've never read them.
I just need
The
a
skeleton
moment.
of them, though.
Because so the thing is when we
I mean, we
started
can
the
time him out,
series-
right?
We can. There's
when
no.
we start- when we started the series, I was ungodly busy.
You
and
know
then
what? You know
And then
what?
nothing's changed.
I haven't had a chance to catch up.
For those that don't know, Catch works a lot, and very hard. But what if you listened to the audiobooks while you were working?
Then I wouldn't pick up anything from the book. It's a guarantee.
ADHD is a bish. Got it. It is a trained, yes, academic.
No, sorry, you continue. I was waiting for you.
I first started listening to audiobooks in 2017, and it took me a while. You have to train your brain to multitask. You have to train your brain. And there's still times even now where I'd be like, oh, I definitely tuned out for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Beep, 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 beep. Like, I have to go back a lot. And that's okay because I'm just happy that I can multitask to begin with. But I will do tasks that are very simple. Like, I can play Fields of Mysteria. And listen to audiobooks because it's like so cozy and familiar. And like, I don't know, when I cook, I can listen to audiobooks. When I walk my dog around the neighborhood, I can listen to audiobooks. When I'm driving a car, I can listen to audiobooks. So you pick and choose your battles. Your work is quite complicated, so that could be difficult. So that's like once you've leveled up to the point where you can successfully do both things. And your brain can do that. I know it could. If you've got ADHD.
It would just irritate me when I'm like mid-chapter and get a phone call on Teams and then have to like.
I can actually see you right now. You'd be like, what? Hello?
No, I've done it. I've done it where my supervisor would call me and I'd be like, seriously, right in the middle of a good song every time.
None of
And if
these
it
are
irritates
enough
me
of
with
it.
songs that I'm barely listening to, it would piss me off with a book I was trying to focus on.
None of these are enough of an excuse to not listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yes, especially because next month we are listening to a book series that you have already committed to not listening or reading to.
Oh my gosh, you have an entire month to catch up. Oh,
Yes,
I'm
right
going
there.
to be reading Albert Einstein and Carl Sagan
Oh
next
my
month.
goodness, what do they have that's worth to say? You
Literally
need donut in your
anything
life.
and everything because they're two of the greatest minds that have ever faced the earth.
See, this is just displaying your ignorance on the majesty that is Dungeon Crawler. That's all that you're telling.
I feel like Tim has tripled and quadrupled down so hard that knowing Dungeon Crawler Carl will replenish his life force is still not enough because he's already made the decision.
It's one of those things that the more you tell me to do it, the less I'm likely to do it at this point. Like,
I know, my brother's like that.
You just have to let it go and let me come to it on my own.
Well, we'll just come to your senses. That was a good one, by the way, if you needed that in the chat. Whenever you want to. Thank you, Aaron. Hey, listen. You do have the entire month of March. I listen.
Books lined up.
I listened to books before I go to sleep.
That's ridiculous.
No, that's wonderful. I have crazy
technically
dreams.
he has until we read the next book. So he's got a lot of time.
But I have books already lined up.
How has that stopped anyone ever? My beer's kicking in.
Do you have lined up?
I'm one of those dumb people that can't read more than one book at a time.
Right? How many do you have lined up?
Hold on. How many?
I'm the same.
Oh, here we go. How many?
I'm terrible at it.
How many gifted subs have you given me?
1,200.
Can I send you the books?
No.
I mean, I keep telling you not to send me gift subs, and yet here we are.
Because you're going to send audiobooks and then I'm not going to listen to them, so it'd be a waste.
Well, if you're going to read it, I will send the books. I will send the books. Can we get a link in Amazon or something of like all the book collection, especially if it has number 7 in there? I'm going to get you all of them.
Billy's right. This really has turned into an intervention, except that it's not about trying to stop somebody's addiction. It's trying to get somebody addicted.
Correct. Welcome to
We are
Maude's
the
Book Club.
toxic friends. Welcome. Yes.
Do it. Exactly. Hey, we have definitely segued the fuck out of life. If you got gifted a sub from iSnore 2, make sure you say thank you. Some of these include, MK3 Swan, who just followed and chatted for the first time. You just got gifted a sub. Welcome. Check out the emojis. That's a lot of fun. Dirk V Dubs, Mr. Slater, Ghost Tech, Amazon, Luis Sanchez, Tom E. Green, Broken Joker, Morn 80. You've been around here for a while. If you're lurking, say hi. Vegas Mel, Silver Staged Entry. Bunny Tree, Evil Eye, Iron Nomad, Cat Chats, Tickapo Jones. That's fun to say. Checo Waz and Craft Brew Boy. Oh, cheers to that. Oh, hold on. Finished. Make sure you say thank you to Jeff. He's in the chat and he'll be able to read that. Sorry, that's 2 of them. You know that anything carbonated makes me burp a lot. Academic says, I hate the characterization of the narration speed. What do you mean?
You were saying that they talk at this speed, specifically for this book series. It's kind of crazy to say that they're like
1.5.
Oh my god. Well,
1.5.
That's fine. On the second listen to, I'll read any book at 1.5 plus. But for the first read, if it's Jeff Hayes, the man himself, I go 1.0.
I could probably do 1.2 at the bit. Carl sounds drunk. And that was the moment I realized.
I accidentally did 1.0 for a minute, and I'm like, why is it so slow? I can't. 1.5. 1.5.
That's why. But like, if you start at 1.0 at the beginning of the book, then you're like, okay, I'm acclimatized. And then on any follow-up re-listen, it's way faster than that for me. So I recognize what you're saying, but I want full fidelity on the first listen. The full experience.
I respect that.
An outrage.
Sweet. So, what do people think about like the actual card games? I just want to bring back.
1 second, I'm back in chat. I want to say one. I love that Vaden's trying to reel me back in with a segue. I appreciate that. I'm not done. I'm 1 beer deep. You know this. Toaster Poster says, and this is a deep cut, so I wanted to reference it. Oh my God, Odette sounds like Chief from Carmen Sandiego game show back in the 90s. Sorry for the super niche callback. I just wanted to know if anyone else got that. Oh, Tim's hand is up. Aaron's hand is up. There you go.
Grew up on that show. It was on PBS all the time.
There you go.
Like, is that and Bill Nye back to back?
Academic says Patreon beef was not on my 2025 bingo card. Oh my gosh, I am a bit delayed with the chat, but it's a lot of fun. Kate, I've missed your jibes. Whoever doesn't like Dungeon Crawler, Carl probably likes Fourth Wing. Fun. I cannot do audio, says KP Dubs. There you go. I need some fictional balance, says Toaster Poster. Ooh, fictional balance. I like that. I bought my friend Project Hail Mary because they were reading a lot of nonfiction, and I was like, just have this. Do this one. Billy Sunrise says this has turned into an intervention. Miss Necromancer is saying the first 3 are out in hardcover now. I got a friend into them and he's waiting impatiently for the 4th to come out in hardcover. Are you okay with hardcover or would you prefer softcover, Tim?
What?
Hardcover? Do you have a preference?
I'm a paperback in general, but I don't care.
Aaron can show you what the hardcover looks like, and KP Dubs can show you what the paperback looks like.
I genuinely do not care what the cover looks like.
My favorite part is I wish everyone got to see you guys in your videos because it's so fun. They're both literally holding up the books right now. Very well timed. Jeff is listening at 1.6 speed. Aaron's saying I listened to at least 1.5 just because the text goes heavy into fight descriptions to the point that it sounds like an instruction manual for a game. Fair enough. Colleen. Hi, Colleen. I love your Tetris t-shirt. Like a lot. That's a lot of fun. Where'd you get it? I want one.
Going very donut there, Maude.
Hi, Colleen.
It was a gift from Red Cross for donating blood.
Colleen, you always find a way to just melt my heart. You couldn't get more perfect, and there you go. Academic. Right when I think I'm out, they reel me back in. Colleen says, I've repeatedly recommended these books to my granddaughter and her fiance, but they just don't have time between work and a new baby. We need to get balance. Blue Spear, first time chatter, coming in with a doozy. Achievement unlocked. Catch a stream about the crawl. Blue Spear, where are you up to? Where are you up to in the series? Colleen, you listen at 1.8. Good Lord. Darren, you've never done an audiobook? Not once. You've never done an audiobook. It's a bit weird when you first do it because it's like, oh, they're telling me how this sounds. I'm hooked. 95 books. 95 books last year. You know how many physical books I read of those? 3. People buy me a book and I'm like, oh, don't do that. Academic, you were about to say something.
Yeah, the last thing I'm gonna say on this book speed thing. When I first listen to a book, if I know I like the series, I want to savor it, right? And so if I listen to it at a slower speed, then I get to experience the book for a longer period of time versus sort of like going through it and then it's the roller coaster is over, right? So like that's my last thing.
Okay, I get everything you say. I respect. I do. I know that as soon as I finish this book, I get to listen to the next one. And then when I'm done with that, I get to tackle the 48 books that I've got lined up. And I'll get through them too because I'm listening at 1.75.
Well, I listened to this book at 1.0 a long time ago. So that
Did you
I listened to it.
Did you reread it for this?
Of course I did.
Good.
Of course, yeah.
Good.
Always, yeah.
Nice. Billy Sunrider has said that since the first 6 have been picked up for hardcover, the paperback is actually out of print. Oh, good to know. Alrighty, now that we've gone through all that, hey, Vaden, what should we talk about? The book.
I was just asking about talking about the actual story and stuff, what's happened. But yeah, I was just gonna ask about the card game. That's the main gimmick of this tour, right?
It sure is. All right, so let's chat a little bit about the Eye of the Bedlam Bride. Again, thanks to everyone who worked on the document as well. I haven't even gone through my housekeeping. The photo shoots have launched on the shop for patreon.com/Maude's Book Club. I've worked with a photographer. We did some really cool shoots at like a set. If you are pervy, you'll be disappointed. But there's some really, really fun shoots in there. And I'm actually going to be back cataloging previous shoots that I've done and uploading the entire sets. A lot of the photos have never been seen. You may have seen glimpses of them on Instagram, but the whole set will be available throughout the month as well, which is really, really cool. I'm doing a gaming stream tomorrow. We have a tier on Patreon called Game On, and we play video games with the community. Now, what does that look and sound like? We've been playing Lockdown Protocol a lot, which is like Among Us, but first person. Lisa has been the dissident, which is the imposter, 95% of the time that we've been playing. It is a lot of fun. I am incredibly chaotic, and I feel like it's at the point where I need to start apologizing for my behavior. My rule is just kill Lisa first, because chances are she's going to be a dissident and then go about your day. When I first tried to kill her, I was dissident, and she was also my counterpart. And so we had a lot of destruction together. It is a lot of fun. We've played a lot of games so far. We've played Halo together. We started a farm on Stardew. We play Chef Squad, where I scream at everyone in the kitchen. It is a lot of fun. We've just had a new member sign up as well. So get involved with that one. Check it out, patreon.com/Maude's Book Club. There's other games that I'd like to check out as well. And I'm open to learning about more co-op games that we can play together. I want everyone to play Marvel Rivals, but I guess I understand that that's not everyone's cup of tea. And I'm doing a birthday stream in 2 weeks. I think I'm going to start streaming Fields of Mystery. It is a Stardew Valley adjacent kind of game. Super cozy. All the people in the town are hot. I want to romance all of them. Whose birthday? My birthday. My 27th birthday. Someone thought I was 30. They legit thought I was 30 years old. And I was like, I'm 27. Rude. 30. What year would I be born in if I were 30? 1994? 1995? 1995. Canon.
You know, for someone who was born before the presidents of the United States were a band, you really do enjoy that, as you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, I like the Beatles though, Tim. So, like,
it's just rare that somebody who was born before a 90s alternative band became popular actually likes a 90s alternative band. It's just rare.
There's a 22-year-old kid at work that stands toe-to-toe with me, on 70s and 80s stuff all day long. So it doesn't matter.
Oh, wow.
The 90s were different.
Tim's trying to out me, but I was born in 1985, so...
I'm not arguing with that.
So I turned 30. It's my big 30th in 2 weeks. I'm enjoying my last time in my 20s.
How long have you been in your 30s?
Shut your mouth. Not long enough. So that's all the...
Wizard's no longer a part of the stream. I'll imagine that.
Yeah, no birthdays around here. Maddie's in the chat. For my 30th birthday, I'm going to host a funeral for my 20s and make everyone dress in black. That's really a good idea. Maybe we should host a funeral for my 20s. I like that. Kate says, I can't believe I stole the mother of some dumb teenager. Oh, Kate. Oh, my mum a couple of times a year will come on Maude's book club, and that Kate always has such great observations with the books. Oh, Kate's so fascinating. Kate this, Kate that. And now, of course, Kate's decided that she's going to take my mum to be her own mum, just providing backstory for everyone since we've been a club for a while. And that was when Kate and I decided that we were rivals for the rest of our lives. Hey, Kate, how the fuck are you? Swear. Does that one count? Little do everyone know, a scarf that Kate knitted me lives in the set. It's right there. It lives there forever. It lives there because Kate, she made me a scarf. So I displayed it for everyone to see. Oh, Jeff's probably still not here, but that was the game ball that we won. Mother rivals. Nicely done, Lisa. Nicely done. If we were Marvel rivals, are you Emma Frost and I'm Scarlet Witch? Holy shit, you know it. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, what is Eye of the Bedlam Bride all about? And Jimmy's like, I'm Squirrel Girl. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. That level of enthusiasm, I'll allow it. A pantheon of forgotten gods, an old grudge between a talk show host, an heiress, and the man they shattered along the way, a rapidly deteriorating AI system, an inconvenient tiara upon the head of a friend. It is Bedlam on the 8th floor. As management reels from the unexpected conclusion of the 7th level, the surviving crawlers stumble onto the 8th and find themselves scattered. It's a map based on Earth's final days before the collapse, where ethereal, intangible ghosts of humanity go about their lives, oblivious of the impending doom. Living amongst these ghosts are monsters based in Earth lore. Legendary creatures tied to the geographical location they inhabit. Each team of crawlers is given a task: find and capture 6 of these beasts. The captured monsters will be turned into cards that can be summoned into battle again and again. The stronger, the deadlier, the better. At the end of the floor, though, the bad guys are also going to have decks, and they'll have some of the most powerful cards available, so it's kind of crucial to assemble the toughest squad possible. But like always, there's a catch. There's always a catch. As Carl and Donut know all too well, just because someone's captured doesn't mean they can be tamed. Her name is She Maria. She's easily the most powerful monster in their area, and if they want to survive, they must capture her. But she's no ordinary beast. She's intelligent. She was once married to a god who is now missing, and her special attack is known to drive one permanently insane and blind. They call her the Bedlam Bride. Thank you, Goodreads, for that one, especially since it was not really spoiler heavy at all. And it just talks about sort of the setup of the book. So, as Vaden wants to talk about, rightly so, Orange44, thanks for the follow. We have a new battle system. And the fact that we're on book 6 and the crawl really has to change and evolve every single time and keep us interested, they've done a trading card simulation in this one. It's reminiscent of sort of a Yu-Gi-Oh! More than a Pokemon in a way, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Have like more personified speaking people, and these monsters have their own personalities as well. But there are schematics involved with it. My big question for everyone: did the introduction of this new gameplay style bog down or enhance the story so far? Who would like to weigh in?
A little bit of both, in my mind.
Okay, talk me through that.
Enjoyed it.
On the one hand, they got really, really technical on like how this all works, and it just started like, especially since you're like listening to the audiobook, so you don't have like the text, like, you know, kind of like keep track of all the rules. So it's like, oh, you need all these totem cards, but you can't do this and you can't do that, and you can use this and you can that. It's like, what?
I let it wash over me as well, and I trust Matt Dinnerman enough to know that he will explain to me the rules as it's in gameplay, and, you know, have little mentions like, oh, and that's a card that you have to draw 3, so that was really good in that moment. And you're like, great, thanks.
Like, if you ever watch any of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cartoon shows, like after the first main series, like it got super more complicated as things went on, and it's like, now we're on motorcycles, and now we're also doing these things, and we have to like, why is the rules like a paragraph essay on the card?
Yeah, I agree. I stopped with the motorcycles, but like, shout out to Dark Magician that one time, because he was MVP. We all know it. Vaden, your hands up.
Oh, just want to say that I think that the card game announces the books. Like, yeah, initially it's just like confusion, even if you know how to play card games, which I do, but like still. But what I liked is it did add a lot of fun stuff to the plot. Like we had a character literally die, actual real player get killed, and he gets turned into a card.
Holy shit, right?
Yeah, at Paz, I forgot how you pronounce his name. And then we had someone like Shea Maria who's willing gets turned into a card, but we know that they seem to, you know, we're not trusting her, and also like there's an idea that she can be taken to the next floor. So you have cards. So other people can do the same thing. They can take their cards. They can take the next floor too. So it's really curious to see what they bring over.
Well, they're exploiting the rules in that particular one, and that's how you know how smart she is. Miss Necromancer says, no, not to me. I found the card game a lot easier to follow than the train thing. Big same. I didn't have the map. I was listening to the audiobook for that. Let me tell you, I just shut down and shut off, and I was like, you just tell me what's happening, because I can't visualize this at all, except the demon woman giving birth into the furnace. I got visceral visual details on that one. Thank you, Matt. Queen's blood, says Miss Necromancer. Yes, I love it. Toaster Poster says, kind of a roundabout way of killing each other. I thought it was fine. Nick, you've got thoughts, though. I'd love to hear sort of an expansion of what you've said in the chat.
Yeah, I feel like it did kind of bog down the first half.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost you for a bit there. It cut off after it bogged down the first half. While you figure that out, I'm going to read your comment. Said it.
90% mark of the book that we got to actually. Yeah.
Oh no! It just cut back in, and we lost the whole thing. Sorry, Nick. That's annoying. Not your fault at all. And I'm sure you had a really fantastic thing to say. Your audio on your Discord let you down. But I'll read your comment, though, so we can at least get the gist out. It was bogged down for a bit because we only got to actual battles with the cards at like 50% into the book. I'm sure it's going to pay off in the second half, though. And if you ever want to try again, Nick, feel free to unmute and we can give it another go, too. But we got a little bit at the start. We've got the very end of it and nothing in the middle. Okay. Yes.
I'm going to split the difference here. I think that the card game is really lazy and it's and hilariously so. And I think that what Matt Dinneman here is doing is the showrunners have been put into this position where they're not ready to do the floor, and they're like leaning on all of these rules for this thing that's not very well put together, and the crawlers are sort of suffering through this. And I think it's hilarious how it's all playing out. We're like, that seems way easier than it should have been. I don't understand why. That's a god, right? Like, all of the interesting things have almost nothing to do with the cards, and especially in this first 50% of the book, right? So yeah.
I love that you said that. We really have to take into account that they were assuming they would have the entire 7th floor to map this out and to plan it and to beta test it and to figure it out and to have it all into place. And the 7th floor never happened. The 7th floor got shut down by Prepotente immediately. So they are scrambling. And this is what scrambling kind of looks like. Terry, you've got a thought. The finger went up. Ding. He's like, no, I don't.
I was waiting for someone to put the goat screaming when you said Prepotente.
Oh, the goat screaming. Oh, I love it. You were pointing to get that. Ah! KP Dubs, where were you with that one? The Prepotentes. There you go. I love that. Is that Prepotente, Aaron? Or you got a goat?
No, it's a Christmas goat thing I got from TikTok shop, and it screams.
Can I hear it?
Okay. I don't know if my mic can pick it up or not.
Not hearing that. Nah, and sometimes mics will like lessen.
All right, one more time. No?
Nah.
Okay, fair enough.
Nah. Oh, what a bummer. Can you emulate it?
No. I'll try with my webcam real quick just to see before we move on.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Still nothing. We gave it a red hot go though. Darren says, yeah, they're a floor ahead of schedule. Exactly. Butcher says hi. Matthew Butcher says hi again. Matthew Butcher, you got gifted a sub, by the way. I'm pretty sure I read out your name a little bit ago. So make sure you say thank you to the person who gifted you a sub. Colleen says some of the totem cards wanted to fight each other. That's where it gets really entertaining. You might have like a oversimplified or complicated, whichever way you look at it, process here where you have to collect the cards. But the actual sort of training of these cards and having their personalities and getting them to try to work together and hearing Donut's frustration of not being obeyed, a lot of fun. Now, was that taken directly from Pokemon where Charizard like evolved too much too early for Ash Ketchum and he couldn't control Charizard? 100%.
Also, in like the actual game thing, it's like if you're not like if you have to get badges so that up to a certain level, your Pokemon will obey you. If they're above a level and you don't have the next badge, they could potentially just ignore you.
And I think it's so funny when you got someone who's called Uzi Jesus. He's going renegade. And someone like She Maria, holy shit with that. Like she's such a fascinating character. I mean, so much so she's the titular kind of character of the happening. That's why she's big time here. Nick continues saying, I do think the gameplay of the cards is very complicated, and I'm not sure if there's enough time in the rest of the book to take full advantage of it. It seems like a lot of setup of a new combat system for only one floor. It is interesting, though, and I appreciate how it's written because I wasn't confused at all. I'm the same. I'm not sure it's bogging me down at all. I think he's presented kind of what it is, and he did just bulk tell you the rules. It was like, right, here it is, page and a half. Figure it out. And I'm going to hold your hand in a way that's not egregious, that's not like pandering, but I'm going to hold your hand through the rest of it. And I was like, sounds great to me. Terry says Uzi Jesus is the most American card, except he's like Jesus, isn't he? Colleen's like, yeah. The showrunners are stealing from Earth's history, which is a nice out for Matt Dinneman to use stuff. I agree. Isn't that so well done? Orange says probably would not be interested in biker memories. I'm not sure what that is. Airwolf says good evening all. I love that. Matthew Butcher says, don't worry, Maude. Hold on, let me do it justice. Don't worry, Maude, I did. My Britishness won't let me not use manners. Love that. Okay, the next thing that I have, a rehash on the rules for those that need it. And KP Dubs, you actually told everyone this on Fable, so thank you so much for your contributions there. To make a deck, you will need exactly 6 totem cards. You may add any number of other types of cards to the deck. So you can only have 6 power players, and those totems could only be the 6 specified sort of legendary mythical creatures in your area. So you have to really do a lot of exploring. While in deck combat, the squad leader cannot cast spells or use their inventory. Squad leaders can still perform physical acts such as a melee attack on things close to them, or physically drink a potion that is at hand, just not if it's in inventory, such as items kept in your hot list. They need to be removed from your inventory and kept ready at hand before a deck combat starts. To start, 4 cards will be drawn from your deck to form your hand. Any totems in your hand can be played at any time. Once totems are on the battlefield, cards that affect them can be played. This is the point where I tune out, by the way, just so people know sort of where my brain attention span lasts. It's still about here. While you have less than 4 cards in your hand, a new card will be drawn from your deck and added to your hand at a rate of 1 card every 10 seconds. If you play all 4 quickly, it will take 40 seconds to get them back up to 4. To start, you may discard any card from your hand. After the first, you must wait 30 seconds between discarding each subsequent card. Generally speaking, totems cannot directly attack a squad leader while enemy totems remain in play. Once all cards in your deck have been played or discarded, the squad leader regains all normal magical abilities and regains access to their inventory. So, essentially, there is no idea how that's applicable. But what I will say, because it's an instruction manual. Okay, I'll allow it. So there's a couple of strategies out the gate that you can think of here, right? You want to try and get as many totems out to begin with as possible and go heavy on the attack. You either want to try and get through as many cards as possible and have a strong attack while you count to 40 seconds and build up your deck again. You want to focus on your totems coming out first, because if you have nothing, the totems can then attack you directly. So you want to have a bit of a buffer there. You want to try and kill all their totems first so that you can then attack or just win, I think. Or you can have all your totems killed and then just absolutely try to take on their totems yourself. There are buff cards. There are levels of cards. So there's like mystic cards, legendary cards. There's like a plethora. You're trying to build your deck as best as possible. Now, people who played card games and trading card games, you basically build your deck so that it's so cohesive in a way, so that no matter what comes out, you've got a bit of a strategy. It's like card counting as well. If you've got 25 cards in your deck and 4 of them are buffs, chances are that if you kind of discard and get new ones, you'll get one of those, and you can strategize it that way. Tim, who hasn't read a book, has a question. No, you did this. What does this mean?
Nothing for you, Maude.
Is that a sports thing? You want to try and kick a goal?
It's the score. It's the score is 1-1.
Get out of here with that.
Okay, bye.
You contributed to the conversation. Gold star. Jeff says, I don't actually think the cards are really the point of the floor. They're an interesting mechanism, but you could not know the rules at all and still enjoy the books. I agree. KP Dub says that was the most tutorial that I've ever read. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Hey, one other thing about the cards is at the end of the floor, anybody who makes it down gets to keep one of the cards
of your choice. One totem. One totem.
So you basically get like a free henchman or whatever you want to call it.
And we've already seen Katia use the totems outside of card play within combat. So this is someone who I believe will stay in the card, and you can play them until their health runs out, and then they go back to the card. So it's like an endless supply of the card. Probably has like a bit of a timeout replenishment, but that's a cool deal, especially if it's a card like She Maria. which we're going to get into. Nick says, as a Magic the Gathering nerd, I love this system. I just really want Donut to get to a point where she has a cohesive deck with synergies, but I don't think they're going to have the time to get there since there doesn't seem to be much more time on this floor. I have a feeling Donut is doing literally the bare minimum to get through this. I don't think she cares about this schematic at all, and I don't think she wants to put the time nor energy into making a cohesive deck. And I think Carl gets it a lot more than Donut does, so that at the end of the part one, the first half of the book that we read where Donut did a solo card battle, Carl was a little worried because Carl's the one, he's the driving force behind this. He's the one who understands the schematics here. He's the one who's building the deck. Donut's just saying yes. You know? The next question that I have, that Tay actually has put into the conversation in the document, Carl's river and his relationship with his parents has slowly been revealed, but notably more in this book and the last. And I've added to that saying, yeah, look, it has been hinted at, but this is the first time we've really discovered just how tough Carl's childhood was. His father was abusive and seems like an absolute deadbeat. His mother ended up taking her own life, and I do want to put a trigger warning there if we're stepping into sort of a triggering topic. And she'd basically, I don't know, have we, I don't know if that's a spoiler. Who's in the deck and can look at the highlighted part on the end of page 4? Is this a spoiler for the second half of the book? KP Dubs, can you look? Academic, is that you in there? No, you're
I think
nodding?
you're going to say that she tried to poison Carl's dad, and we have read that so far in this.
I don't think when you highlight it, I don't think we know that yet.
Okay.
Oh, you're in the doc.
I'm in the doc. Okay, thank you.
That was
Thank you.
mentioned in I forget which book, but it was
I thought
mentioned
they
in a
said
previous
that
book.
in the last book.
It was in the last book.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of, I think that by using that conclusion.
Carl never said it out loud to anybody. He was always like in his own internal monologue, flashbacking kind of thing.
And Nick's confirming we haven't read ahead. I haven't read ahead, and I know that she tried to poison his dad and then killed herself, but the dad lived. Okay, so basically she was doing that to protect Carl. She was poisoning that her husband to try and kill him, thinking that it would have worked. She's taken her own life, and the father has stayed alive. Now, once that had happened, Carl's dad bailed. Carl's what, 15 at this point? 15, 16 years of age. He's still a minor. And he was living at home on his own. He didn't tell anyone about this. He didn't kind of really discuss with any friends that his mother had passed away and his dad had left. And it was only, I think, about 3 months into it where the electricity was turned off because he's not paying any bills. He had friends help him with food. But it might have been on her birthday. That was like the real kicker. Can anyone remember? Jeff, is it fresh in your mind? Did she do it on her birthday?
It was Carl's birthday.
Carl's birthday. Oh my God, that's horrible. Steph's in the house saying a little late. I'm just popping in for a little bit. Hi, Steph. Hi, Steph. Lovely to have you here. KPWs, it was Carl's birthday present. There you go. Yeah. So we're learning just of what the implications was for him to be 15, 16 years of age, being interrogated by the police, thinking that he was responsible for this happening, and then being taken off to what I assume is sort of what happened if anyone read Demon Copperhead. Did anyone read that book? It was a slog of a book, but it was very well written. Essentially, it was about a very similar thing where a boy was taken out of the care of his parents. I think his parents' mum had died of a drug overdose, and the stepdad didn't want anything to do with him. And he gets sent to what's essentially sort of a farm for boys to finish out school, but also to learn sort of like trade to set them up. But it's not a halfway home, but it's sort of like a foster care system. And that's what he had. And he learnt, excuse me, I think we've all got whatever this is going on. I feel like 4 of us talking have all had this at some stage. He learned how to do sort of like basic electrical skills, cooking, things like that. And the way that Carl addresses it is very on point with what men will do. Suppress, don't acknowledge, don't talk about it. I got through it, therefore we never need to acknowledge this anymore. But the more we're learning about this with Carl, the more we're understanding why he is overprotective of some people. He does want to step up because he'd felt really let down, not just by his father, but by the system. And a lot of the time, if you have a really horrible and broken childhood, the options for you are to spiral, go down a path of addiction, because more often than not, that addiction is a suppressant and it can stop you from feeling and thinking a lot of that pain. Or you are wanting to course correct and you're like, just because that's happened to me, it doesn't mean it defines me. And you want to be a better person because of it. And I feel that's where Carl falls into it. But it's also why Carl completely understands what Katya is going through. And that, for me, came out of nowhere. The discovery that Katya is not at all coping in the dungeon. She has gone through a lot of things, whether it was prior to the dungeon, which we've learnt about, and also in the dungeon. And her coping mechanism is to suppress. Vaden, your hand is up.
Yes, I wanted to mention a couple of things based on what you said. You mentioned about Carl's coping mechanism, and I put a quote in there about how he literally says, so many people had it so much worse. I almost felt like I didn't have the right to feel upset about something that had happened so long ago. So like he feels guilty about even complaining, even though he's had a hard life, just because the people have had even worse. Mm-hmm. And then like for the other thing about the like being kind of the dish, like it's one of the reasons why he's so bonded to Donut, because mm-hmm. they both have extreme loyalty together because they both are abandoned people. Like she was abandoned by B, exactly, yep. Exactly, yeah. So he, like her, doesn't want has felt that pain and doesn't want it to give it to anyone else. So.
Just really quickly as a side note, I saw in the subreddit that the reason why Donut is so against the citrine gem that she's gotten is because that's the color of the second place ribbon in cat showcases or whatever you call them. I thought that was a really fun note to add and I wanted to get that out there. KB Dub says, that was so hard. Yes, you do, Carl. Talk to someone, get it out. Kate says, I wonder how many other crawlers are addicts. Probably a fair percentage. I mean, the blitz sticks are a very known thing. They make them somewhat accessible and like you get to escape the pain for a moment. And also there is a gambling portion with blitz sticks because isn't it, if you smoke it, there's a chance you could level up a stat, but there's also a chance that it could take a stat. So there's gambling in that as well. It's a twofer. And I think there's other drugs that can transport you to like a different memory. It was at the end of last chapter, Katya would take a drug so she could constantly relive the moment of killing Eva and saying something different and having a different moment. But it was all about repeatedly making the decision to end another's life. And that made her quite empowered. And she wanted to escape back into that moment. Kate makes a really great point in the comments as well. Carl is willing to sacrifice himself to save others, just like his mother. That's what his mother was doing. She sacrificed herself to save Carl and was trying to sacrifice her husband at the same time. Matthew's saying that he really relates to this experience. Went through something very similar in the living situation as a teen, and that these books really helped so much. So reading about these themes, I do think Carl's a great role model in this regard. I think it's normalizing the fact that it is very, very difficult to talk about. And that, you know, if you've already sort of moved on and moved past it, why would you want to unbury those things? But I do think you get a stronger read on Carl, and it normalizes Carl. It humanizes Carl, you know? I always thought he was the one thing I never really got is that his reputation, people were scared of him. But of course, it's the edits in these recap shows that would paint him in a really negative light, because every single time, like his leadership qualities are second to none. When shit's going down, everyone looks to Carl and he's got a plan in place. And his plan is to always make sure that everyone gets out alive. That's someone you want on your side. If I were in this dungeon and I met someone like Carl, glue. I would make sure, I would cut you so hard in that moment where I'm like, this is someone, Vaden thinks it's because I'm going to make lovey eyes to Carl. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the cover of This Inevitable Ruin when he's got the long hair. I already told Matt Dinnerman, I'm like, you tell Carl when he's out of the dungeon if he's looking like that. Give me a call. Fictional character. I really am not good with that. He's so reckless that it's easy to evil edit. What? You and half
You
the
and
internet.
half the internet when it comes to fictional characters and making emotional bonds and connections to them.
Maybe that's where the actual crawl comes into place. It's a battle royale to date the fictional character. Ooh, I'd kill a bitch. Oh, goodness.
Cassius is already dead.
Oh, wow.
You didn't have to do that. Oh, that was mean. That was like, don't cry on stream. Miss Necromancer says, if you want him, Maude, you're going to have to learn to like cats. Pass. Maude's already moved on from Cassius. Whoa, it's fictional. I can have multiple. Why choose one? You kidding? That's not how this works. Okay, moving on. Tay makes a really great point. Book 6 very noticeably departs from it being all about the floor. It is now far more about the wider universe, what's happening outside the crawl, and the relationships prior to the dungeon, as well as expanding upon the relationships in the dungeon. What do we think about the external world building? Are you more invested in this? When these chapters come up, are you kind of trying to understand what's going on? We're getting sort of breadcrumbed throughout it, but do you enjoy the bigger picture that's happening? Yes, Tay, donut is the exception, not the rule to liking cats. Absolutely. KP Dub says, I love the external stuff. Bartleby Prime's in here saying, at the airport waiting to go home. On reread, Sister Ines seems to be the only sane one, being driven insane by everyone not reacting to the obvious corruption of the world. Carl seems to ebb and flow between going with the corruption and fighting against it. I Snore 2 says, yeah, and that is an abomination. That's a really interesting... Oh, wait, sorry, that was to the wrong thing. And Academic says, I love this reading. There you go. What's the abomination part? They have cloning.
I mentioned that they have cloning tech in Red Rising, so you can make yourself your own Cassius mod. It'll be fine.
Yeah, but then I'd have to live in the Red Rising universe. And let me be honest, that would be, even if you're a gold, there's some messed up shit that happens there. There's like no good person to be in that book. Even if I got
Game
to
of
clone.
Thrones.
Oh, I mean, at least being a woman in Red Rising is a little less shit than Game of Thrones.
Fair point.
Aaron, you said if we didn't get this world building, it would be insane more than it already is. Of an alien takeover of a planet to mine it for resources. That's essentially what it is. But it's more than resources. We're learning about life force. They're extracting life force. Is that souls? What is life force, do you think? Is it flora, fauna, energy, resources, materials? Life
of everything.
Force.
Midichlorians.
Always come back to
I just had a thought now that you've phrased it in that way. It's basically the plot to Eternals.
Oh, goodness.
It's like you just wait until intelligent life gets to a certain critical mass point, and then suddenly this giant alien then breaks out of the
Sucks it
planet
dry.
like an egg.
That's fun. That's cool. Steph says, I had a hard thing with the first few chapters as we were being introduced to the floor, but once we connected to the outside world, it felt like it picked up. Oh, I had a hard time. Sorry, hard time with the first few chapters. I loved the exposition chapter. I loved the recap. I wish fucking Onyx Storm did something like that. I mean, use it as a journal entry. That's all they do, the start of the chapter. Journal entry extraction from freaking Zayden Ryerson to Cadet Violet, and he just does a recap.
I mean, they literally have like Justinian, who has a bunch of historical stuff. It's
That's
perfect character
it.
for that.
That's it. Could have just done a cheeky little recap in there. Would have been great. Onyx Storm isn't the sixth book.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Like, we didn't have a recap for book 3 of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
That is true, but they didn't mention beginning a chapter that they should have started doing this a while ago.
Fair enough.
Someone made a really astute observation on the subreddit as well, saying that they would love to see more journal entries or cookbook entries, from Carl. And it'd be really cool that in the next book or the one after, like for Carl to be writing in the cookbook, the recap and like what he'd learnt from that. I thought that would be really cool. I want to subscribe to Donut's newsletter. I love that. Are you understanding what's taking place with the external forces? Odette's got her own series of stories. We're learning that the pacifist group that has sponsored Carl has been recruiting members of the cookbook. And there's been 3 previous authors already that are a part of that organization. And Rosetta is one of them. And Rosetta has been trying really dang hard to get some secret messaging across to Carl on her show. Who's picking up what they're putting down? Who's understanding this? Yam, says KP Dubs. Tales from the cookbook. What if Dinnerman releases the cookbook? Well, that's fun. That's something J.K. Rowling would do to get more money.
I am really on board. Like all these little, I'm looking for it. Every time there's a name, I'm like, was this person in the cookbook? What are they doing? Who are they? How are they related? And they've been doing it for about 3 books now, ever since we had Professor Who or whatever was one of the crawlers. And every time, every time something pops up, I'm like, yes, bring it all in. I want to see how this all comes together.
And what have you extrapolated from that so far?
I mean, especially now that we have former cookbook owners, Rosetta's quote was like, basically like, I don't care where I am, how long it takes, I'm burning all this down eventually. And I think she's trying to help Carl in some way. I don't know what way that is yet, but
it seems more and more. Odette is now kind of on that same page as well. And I think Odette has gravitated towards Carl, because Carl's agenda is to also burn it to the ground. And as a pacifist network, I really, truly think that they want to stop the crawl from existing at all. Academic, what do you get from it?
While on the topic of Odette, I feel like she's kind of hiding. We don't think that Odette was a cookbook member. At least we haven't seen any entries from Odette in the cookbook. Yes. And I think we would know this by now because Carl would have...
read it. He's read it.
Yeah, he's read it. Like, he's memorized it, right? So, like, it's still... She's giving a lot of this cookbook author mentality. My hypothesis is that she is the cookbook progenitor. And this is like, because the cookbook doesn't really become an item in the dungeon until the first person drops and it's left in the dungeon, right? So Porthos is the first like non-cookbook entry, really. So yeah, or first non-original cookbook entry, right?
How did Carl come across the cookbook?
Got it from a fan box. And on the Iron Tangle level. Book 4.
What?
Chaco.
Fan box let him play the game where he could choose stuff.
And who ran that game?
Chaco.
And who knows Choco? And who was in the same?
Odette and Mordecai.
Chaco was in Mordecai's party. Odette was Mordecai's manager. Yes.
The threads are forming.
Bring this up. If the reason why Chaco was there, the host is then Mordecai would then punch him because everybody knows they have bad blood, so that he's not there to then advise Carl on what would be a better item to pick from that little thing.
Or did Odette know that distraction would have taken place and no one would have asked more about the cookbook?
That's what I mean. It's like he's not getting advice on anything, and like you said, he's not There's no attention to this random and it's disguised as like a goblin cookbook or something stupid.
On the Anarchist cookbook.
Yeah,
right, but it's like
like recipes.
It was described as something else.
Yeah, it was like boring recipes, and it just seemed like it was a dud prize. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a junk item.
Oh, here we go. The alternate title of the cookbook would have to be something like Curious and Odetti's, The Game is Afoot. Thank you, Bartleby Prime. See you later, Tay. Thank you again for all your help in the document. I really appreciate it. So the secret messaging from Rosetta on her program. Basically, she fabricated an image that only Carl would know was not actually real. And it was taken on a spot in a room where someone would have to be almost through a wall that existed to showcase Carl cooking. And she kind of was like, weren't you cooking a lot using milk and potatoes? Yes, because potatoes are very versatile, a lot like all bleh, and then got zipped out. And Carl goes a lot like all, what is it? It's not stone fruits. What are they called?
Root vegetables.
Root vegetables. Stone fruit. Root vegetables. And so he's starting to piece together. He got sent this magical whatever yam that has properties. And he's like, what? They paid, wasn't it something like a platinum or celestial amount to get Carl this yam at a particular time? And he's like, what? Now, he's smart. So he's like, obviously this yam is supposed to be for something. It's an ingredient and it needs to go in it. And everyone in the Pacifist Network is like, did he get it? Does he understand it? Because we can't be obvious, because then people will understand that we're kind of like cheating the system. When you do look back through some of the cookbook entries, you start learning what some of these previous crawlers were experts in. One of the crawlers who's been making cookbook entries is really versed in portals. Another one is really versed in basically, I think, was it creating ink that was magic, and this ink has explosives, exactly, Terry, an ink that can transfer powers. So there's like a bunch of different things that we're kind of being hinted towards. I think the answer's right there if we look. Yes, Vaden.
Oh yeah, and speaking of portals, we know that on a previous floor, Carl got an ability from the Valentine network, I think it was, to see subspace portals or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he
see through a door.
Yeah, so he could see these things that he wouldn't normally be able to see. So it's clearly a link there.
Toaster Poster says, yes, maps and cartography is Milk special. So there was a crawler called Milk. But then when Rosetta was talking to him about this stew that he made, it was with potatoes and milk. So was it an ingredient of milk, or is it trying to address Milk's entries in the cookbook? So that's the weird thing. Who in the Volte is helping Carl? Who do you think it is? Vaden?
I think my guess is, I think it is partially biased because I saw something in the subreddit about this, but like as a guess, but like it could be possibly Agatha, because we know Agatha's in there.
Where the fuck's Agatha?
Well, we haven't seen her recently, but like I know that we know that the AI mentioned like that someone named She taught him a bunch of stuff about the crawl, and that's one of the reasons why he's so rebellious, is going, they're going crazy essentially, or they're so like anti-system, anti-crawl, that there's someone taught them about a lot of things from the outside, and I'm guessing Agatha we know from the outside, so that's my guess.
Was it the last book where in the epilogue, like, or right at the end, she's like lower level, she's like 27 or something, and she with her trolley just kind of like opens up one of the doors and goes to the next level, and she's like, ha! And you're like, where have you been this whole time, you crazy wench? Which, either work. So there's absolutely something going on there. Who she's working for, I think we're starting to kind of figure out that she's not what she seems at all. Hint, hint, hint. Who do you think, though, is the waste management company, the new sponsor that Donut has? Because Princess Donati has decided to turn on Carl and Donut, wanted to try and erase them from the system, doesn't like the fact that they moved all the NPCs to the 9th floor. doesn't like them kind of like retconning the game and taking it out of her hands, tried to be sneaky, and then when she got vetoed for all of the requests, dropped Donut, and now the Waste Management Co. has come in. Anyone got any ideas on that? And if you've read This Inevitable Ruin, shut your mouth. Jeff's face, he's like, ee. I must remain silent. Okay. The evolution of Jukebox and the NPCs. So we're learning that Mordecai is actually holding a daycare center in his personal quarters, and he's now doing his part to save NPCs as well. So it's a bit of a group effort. Why Mordecai was doing that on the sly when Carl has been like so proactively helping with this, beyond me. And Carl even says that. He's like, why would I care? Why don't you tell me this? I would have said yes, absolutely. Like, they're on the same page with this. So that's a bit weird. But Mordecai's a big teddy bear. Exactly. And a hard ass. Exactly. So he's sort of trying to bring NPCs back to life. What are we learning about NPCs with this flaw that we've never learnt before? And how does it involve Astrid? Who wants to take this? What are we learning about the NPCs, KP Dubs?
Well, she says a few things, like just before she dies, like, I was almost out or I was almost done. Tell my husband, tell the kids I did it for them. And then the next chapter, we find out her kids are the strippers in the penis parade. And the dad is doing...
Put out the hit!
And they think it's to get the money, so when they get out, he'll get both of their money. What a rat bastard he is. But we don't know if they're crawlers or if there's just some other types of indenture that are happening out in the galaxy that put them there, but they're definitely not computer generated. They're real beings.
And this is the first time we've kind of understood, because there's a lot of times where some NPCs, like when you were in the, what are the clubs called? Vanquish and...
A Desperado?
Desperado. When shit was going down, when the demigod came in and was like, yeah, Minge, I believe it is. First it was Slit, then it's Minge. I'm getting it. And the NPCs zipped out of existence. So that, for me, felt like it was a computer-programmed sort of NPC, insert crowd here. We've also seen throughout every single book really unique and tailored NPC experiences. Let's go all the way back to book 1, the 2 goblins. They were talking about their dreams. They were talking about that they wanted to get transported to levels further down. We lost KP Dubs. Wait. Did you just... Oh, you just went off video. They were kind of like talking about, if they can just get through this level, then they'll be transported to another level and things will go better and da-da-da. That was book 1. And so we're kind of figuring out more and more that these NPCs and these bosses, book 1 again, there was that, what is happening? Sorry, I just looked at the video and it looked like one eye was at the camera and one eye was going in. And I was like, why are my eyes doing that? I've only had one beer. No, there it is again. Why does it look like one of my eyes has gone lazy? Exciting. All right. Was she Mexican? She was speaking Spanish. Remember? She was in the trash. And she was basically like, no one could understand what she was saying. And then someone could understand. And she was like, basically like, please help me. Like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what's happening. Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, she's a boss. We've got to kill her. Bang, bang, bang. The Hoarder. Thank you, Bartleby Prime. The Karen in the next book. Exactly. Was that book 1 as well? I can't even remember now. I thought it was book 2. Is that book 1? Holy hell. There. Why does my eye? What are you doing? Guys, you know how I feel about this. If I'm having a stroke, I live by myself. You guys watch me die, and then you watch my dog eat me. I don't want this to happen. I'm trying to save you.
Do you smell toast?
Look. I can't smell much. I've just had a cold.
Well, if you don't smell toast, then you're fine.
You don't see the eye thing? I really do. That's okay.
I don't see it. Yeah,
Your eyes don't look like they're crossing. Okay. I believe you. Toaster Poster says, after Mordecai came back from his timeout, he's been less stern. Is this the same Mordecai? Does he have a worm in his brain? Oh, well, I think his actions of saving NPCs, no. But I think my theory that we did a couple of books ago where Mordecai's like, don't do this, don't do that, and they never listen to him. I think Mordecai is realizing that Carl and Donut are leveling outside of his experience. They're learning more and they're getting so strong that Mordecai as an aid isn't actually helpful anymore. And he's not sort of like aiding him. Yes, Aaron.
Us, Donut and Carl are doing things that probably, unlike his run and other runs after, is like shaking up things on the galactic scale. Like they're now like players who are owners of a faction war team later on. So it's like they're doing things that nobody's ever thought of doing. So yeah, they're outside the scope of everybody's experience.
Mordecai just wanted to survive and get through it. So he's been making a lot more safer decisions. Carl's goal is to blow up the box, you know.
Mordecai is basically the 1980s movie cop who's like 3 days away from retirement.
Exactly. They've got different prerogatives now. Although I think that maybe it's impacting Mordecai now because he's also helping the NPCs. I think he's kind of on board with what's happening here. Jukebox, though. Ooh, they created a monster with her, and I like it. You've got a shapeshifter. You've got a doppelganger that can literally become any single person. The fact that she chose that guy's mum, which was the point of contention for Louis, was like a fuck you on behalf of Louis in a way, because Louis had the hit out in the Hunters arena because he said that person's mum was hot. This is Mordecai's last season, says Sailor Scarlet Witch. Lovely to have you here, by the way. I love how many people love these books. It's so good. Toast Post says that's very true. I'm just always looking for a weak spot that Carl might not see. Carl's quite a few steps ahead, and I'm really impressed by him. If I were in a dungeon fighting for my life, literally 23 and a half hours a day, because what is it now? Their beds only allow them like a 30-minute power hour to completely replenish.
The day cycle's 30 hours, and they only have to rest for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's really ridiculous.
2 minutes, says Academic. 2 minutes. So they're constantly on. And even though like their exhaustion is fabricated and can be tinkered, I would be so off it if every single day you have to figure out not only little day-to-day puzzles and problems, but also interpersonal relationships, and then also the overarching theme, and then side quests, and every single one of those can kill you at any given time, I would be beyond exhausted. And yet Carl is doing pretty well. Aaron, yes.
I just had a thought about that whole bed that just basically refreshes you. If you've ever played the game Chrono Trigger, like when they get to the future, there's this little machine that basically you're like, heals all your health and stuff like that. But like plot wise in where they're at, all it does is takes away your exhaustion, but it doesn't actually nourish you. So
this meant these guys aren't doing therapy in those 2 minutes.
No.
You know what I mean? Like physically, great, really go out another day.
It's physically like reviving them and revitalizing them, but mentally it's like they're not allowed to like sit down and just let themselves decompress and process. They're just constantly in survival mode.
They can't grieve. They can't cry. They can't do any of these things. Now, looking at Carl's childhood, he is expert level. He's level 100 stat points in coping, in suppressing trauma. So Katia, who has gone through some stuff like with her husband and like her friend, she had horrible friends on Earth that kind of got even worse in the crawl. She's just not coping. This isn't in her realm. This isn't what she's ever dealt with. She's got blood on her hands and she's just not coping very well with it. And she's turning to drugs. Carl, this is horrible, but the fact that he's gone through extensive childhood trauma has prepared him the best for this crawl. And I think if someone was coddled and had a very easy life, they would not last at all in this dungeon. They would see someone and I'm like, what do you mean I have to like squish the rat with my foot? Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, no, thank you. You're dead. You're done. I don't think I'd be making it to the 9th floor. I have every confidence. And I was kind of talking about that, like the pressure that everyone is facing at this stage, the survival, what would your strategy be? Would you want a smaller group? Would you want a bigger group? Who would you want to team up with? What do you think you'd be really good at? And at what stage do you cling to Carl? Yeah. At what stage do you think you would die? I know that, and I don't even know if Kate's not going to believe me. I have a feeling that if it was me saving people that I loved, a lot of people that I loved, or sacrificing myself, I would probably sacrifice myself. Because if it meant enduring more of that, knowing that it's a when I die, not if I die, I would want to make my death count. You think the same thing, Tim? No, you would kill me to save yourself. What would you do?
I was sports again.
Ah! Stop it! Jimmy, what would you be like?
Okay, so logically, I'm one of those people that likes to help people. It's just in my nature. I like to help out people. So I would probably try and partner with Donut because Donut's awesome. And, like I would assume intermittently I would run in with Carl because we would both have parallel things of wanting to help people and move forward and possibly take down the system along with it. Now, do I have the fortitude like Carl? I don't know. We both have similar backgrounds in that regard. So I don't know. I think I would last pretty long, but I can't say exactly when.
Would you wake up every day knowing that you'd have to grind, strategize, kill to level up and to stay at Carl's level? Could you keep up with Carl?
Well, minus the killing, that's what I do on a daily basis.
Right.
I wake up, I grind. I have to. It's part of the New York life, as they say.
Yeah, no, you actually make a really good point. I think New Yorkers would do very, very well in the crawl. I think Australians as well. Oh, there's a snake trying to kill me. Okay, it's Thursday,
Exactly.
All right. Oh, is that all it is? The thing that I would not like is them exploiting my fears for entertainment. I would no longer want to indulge them exploiting me for the sake of entertainment. So I would actually probably want to end it, and I would want to do it helping people in that regard. I'd probably do a Miriam, says Sailor, and a Prepotente strategy by putting enemies to sleep. That's how you humanely kill cane toads. There you go. You put them in a freezer, and they just hibernate, sleep, and then never wake up. There you go. But what happened, Sailor? What was Miriam's fate? She was a vegetarian. She looked after animals. She was kind. She was a nurturer. So they made her a vampire where she had to drink blood to survive. And then she put Prepotente's life at risk, knowing it was one or the other. That's what happens when you have a good heart. That's what happens. They exploit your kindness. You know what I mean? Like, you can't win. You can't win. And I think that futility would really get to me. I think I would know that any challenge I was able to get through and cross, they would just up it until I couldn't, Ugh. They exploit you. Yeah. I'm only worried about magpies. Tate the Aussie coming in hot there. Have you been pecked by a magpie, Tate? I have. I was 5 years old. I can picture exactly where I was standing, where it happened. You're lucky it only got me here. Was aiming for my eyes. 5 years old, getting pecked, trying to get my eyes gouged out. That was a Tuesday. Let's move on to the next conversation. We are still meeting new crawlers, which is to be expected. There's still quite a few million happening there. Do you think crawlers would be intimidated by Carl and Donut since they're so highly ranked? Or would you want them, if you were a crawler, you stumble upon the televised number 1, number 2 crawlers in the dungeon, would you run away knowing that there was so much emphasis on them, that there was always going to be drama surrounding them because it was being televised at any given time? Or would you want to be close to them knowing that your popularity would grow, your clout would increase, you would become a name, you would be more likely to have opportunities to eventually get out of the dungeon and be given a deal, so you were popular by association? Aaron, I think I already saw you say that you would bolt in the other direction.
Yeah. But it reminds me of the character Katsumi from Mass Effect 2, where it's she pretty much says, I am the best thief. I am not the most famous. It's like,
yeah, you're good at it because no one knows you're doing it.
Exactly.
And that's what Carl even thought. He goes, I really envy their anonymity. They are just going about their day. No one's breathing down their neck. No one's like trying to manipulate and exploit them beyond existence. They are simply just surviving this like in a very less stakes sort of way. Is that the better way?
I think it's also because he keeps screwing with both either the showrunners or the AI's plans to just murder everybody by like finding a way to circumvent their plans, or at the very least minimize the casualties that they're trying to count for.
They have had a lot of perks being so popular and successful in this. They've got a lot of perks. They also have the AI and the world's eye on them. They've made a lot of enemies already. So which do you think would be better? I don't think I would have made it off the first floor, says Jeff. What would have done you on the first floor? The tractor? Oh, it's rolling. Oh no.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like violence, and I'm terrible at first person shooters and all of those games. And so I wouldn't have survived. It wouldn't have gone well for me.
Would you have gone into the crawl? Oh, my eye. Would you have gone into the crawl with anyone else? I feel like I'm the Bedlam bride with this eye going rogue on me. Oh my God, I'm just making everyone slowly lose sanity and blindness. Yeah, who would you be descending into the crawl with? My dog.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would be solo personally, but that's just.
Do you have any pets?
Not anymore.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. It's been a couple years.
So you're just like figuring it all out on your own. Who else is in that situation?
I'm not in the situation. I was just raising my hand to talk, but I'm the opposite. Like I want to talk to the people because I want to learn the rules of the game. Like I'm someone who really likes exploring the rules of stuff to figure out what you can and can't do, because it's the only way you can learn how to break the system. Is you need to know what the rules are in the first place.
Thank you so much, Sailor, to spell out the absolute obvious here. To get into the crawl, you'd have to be outside. Who of us is often outside? I don't want to speak on behalf of many of us.
You walk. I walk.
Yeah. For 90 minutes a day. What am I doing the rest of them? I am mostly inside. I sleep often at night in my home.
This whole thing happened in winter. I'm in Minnesota. Why would I be outside?
You are not outside. But I mean, remember we did the math on that with like the global calculations. It's summer and during the day in Australia. So it's like summer afternoon. So statistic, and I feel like I talked about this with Matt Dinnerman. Statistically, there would be so many Australians. They wiped out all of New Zealand. Like that got blipped out. There was like a bug, a glitch, and they're like, oh, by the way, all the Kiwis, you're dead. Soz about that. We'll change it now. There's only 25 million people in Australia. I confidently feel that like at least 8 or 9 million made it into the crawl. At least. Afternoon, summer. Matt did something to Australia, says K. Frito. No, I thought it was New Zealand. Matthew Butcher said, I just bought an Xbox. You're dead. You ain't going in the crawl at all. Anyway, food for thought. I do love having these conversations of like being able to place yourself in that, because you're like, this is what's happened. This is what's going on in the book. Jay Buntrock, 6 minutes ago. Thank you for resubscribing for 34 months in a row. Appreciate it. And Steph, it's been lovely to have you in here as well. I've been reading all your comments in the chat. Colleen says, I live with 2 other old people who are reasonably sedentary. I don't think we'd have much of a chance. Did you not read the first book? You just need an Armani and you are so sweet to go. Get rid of Jack real quick. He's going to pee on a wall and you're all going to die. But Ellie is she's been a top 10 crawler this entire time. Colleen, I strongly believe you would Ellie the hell out of the crawl. You'd be a Frost Maiden by level 3. Are you kidding? I do love the fact that Ellie found out that there's like people in the globe that have like a fetish of grandmas becoming hot in the game. And she's just like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, dear. Well, if there's anything we've learned about Dungeon Crawler, Carl, if it's a kink, it exists. Sailor says, I agree with you that most folks would be outside with their dogs, so I would assume more enhanced pets to be in the dungeon. Doesn't the pet have to be at a particular level? Because I don't think all of Miriam's goats got the biscuit. I think it was only like, or maybe they all did and only 3 of them successfully turned. I'd love a Bianca. Are you kidding me? Bianca the goat? Is it Bianca? Bianca the goat? Who's like a hellspawn? Who can fly now? It's basically like a flying fire dragon. So good.
Yeah.
As a familiar? So good.
Yeah. Like I think of her as almost like a go version of a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. And so much better because Prepotente won't shut the fuck up. So it's like, you know, oh, cool, my pet can talk. I wish they couldn't. Don't worry, Zelda. I think you'd be amazing. I think we'd get along great. Samantha's description of Ellie, even though her garage was recently refurbished, it's all dusty and closed for business. Thanks, KP Dubs. Sailor says, I love Bianca. Yeah, that poor Miriam. Now it's Prepotente's Bianca, which is a bit of a bummer. J Bunt Rock says, I'm an avid disc golfer, so hopefully it happens when I'm doing that, although my disc golfer buddies would be terrible crawlers. All right, so this is the other point. With Katia going through a lot of things, Batista's like basically on 24/7 care with her. Armani is needing to buff her and keep her alive a lot of the time. Everyone has to kind of chip into their part to look out for Katia. At what point does a person's decisions impact you enough to need to walk away? And Katia also, I believe, is thinking that she's doing everyone a favor because she has the tiara of the Septus Whore. So it is a donut or Katia situation, and she's almost taking the L in that. KP Dub says Brittany's stepping up and leveling now. Yeah, she had all of like the whole floors kind of being carried through it and not caring and not wanting to get her hands dirty and just kind of like being everyone else's problem. And I think now that her face has been marred by flame permanently, and that's the other thing. She was so invested in her looks. So what did the AI do? Boom, you burnt. Deal with it. We take the things from you that you love and cherish the most. And wasn't she with Faraz? Or they were just friends? She had someone die that she cared for. So now I think she's just like, game on. Where would Batista go? What do you mean, Darren?
We got tired of wanting to deal with Katya, and he's like, he needed to make a break. Where would he go? They're kind of all trapped together in a sense. So there's not really like he can. It would be hard for him to leave and join another crawler or anything like that. There's also the emotional stakes behind it too, because they've been together. They've been crawling for the last 5 floors. So there's not. He could go out on his own, but
I would not do that.
He's not powerful enough to do that. He doesn't have a familiar like Potente has or anything like that. So he's essentially, if you wanted to leave, you're kind of stuck. Survival isn't any better because you've left the danger person.
True, but they could also not take Katia through the next level. They could not help her on these challenges. They could not provide the solution to make her get better. I don't think Katia could ever kill Donut, but I think that Donut and Carl would do what's necessary. That's it. And if you recognize and realize that, you don't agree with that, Jeff? I think Carl has been tested, and Carl's response was, we don't leave anyone behind.
Right, which is why I'm saying, like, I don't think Carl or Donut could kill Katya. I don't think that's in their. At least I would like to think that is not in their makeup.
Odette had something very similar happen. She had to choose between her cousin and her friend, and she made the smarter choice, you know? And the fact that that can be even whittled down to a smart choice shows you what the stakes are in the game, you know? I didn't choose my cousin, even though he's family. My friend was a stronger crawler, and it increased my chances of survival. And that's what they're going to face. And that's what a really strong through line so far in the first half of this book, and even last book, was it's going to get worse before it gets better. We are going to have to make some really hard decisions, and it's going to get worse. And there was a point here with Sister Ines. Now, she's really interesting. We've got 3 new crawlers. Sister Ines is a Havana brown cat. Ew, we don't like that. Kind of flanked by 2 guys who ended up, we discover, were prison guards at a prison. And it was Sister Ines who was the prisoner. She killed an entire covenant. She's a murderer, straight up. But apparently has changed a lot of her ways in the crawl and actually does want to help people. There was a situation where Sister Ines was rendered sort of unconscious, and she fucking flagged one of her counterparts in this, P-A-Z, and turned him into a totem. That's unhinged. But he was like, his dying breath was basically like, she's changed, she's doing better. Not you too, Steph. Steph's now doing 2 and 2. What does it mean? Oh, the score on the game. You too, Steph? I believed it with him, but you? We've lost another one. Matthew says, good night. I didn't realize it was 3 a.m. It was lovely to have you here. Amani would make the smart choice. She's hat do, says Sailor. That's it. Kate is saying that Lucia Ma, Prepotente are the only ones who can go it alone. Even Carl has Donut. Oh, it's USA versus Canada. Okay. I'm Canadian, of course. I'm watching hockey. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll allow it. What would you have done with the Sister Ines situation? It really struck a chord because if you've seen the gaming streams that we do with the community playing Lockdown Protocol, one of my strategies is anyone who could be sus, it was safer for me to kill them and handle it on my own. And that's an opportunity that exactly happened in this book. Sister Ines could be a threat. She could be a liability. She could be an issue. I think I said issue twice, didn't I? Issue, liability, issue. That's fine. Yeah. In my head, I was like, get rid of her. Lisa's dissident 95% of the time. Just kill her because, like, chances are. Killing someone to prepare for what could happen was a real check for me that I had in this book. Lisa, and how does that work out for you, Maude? Yeah, I didn't finish the challenge because it was just me and I needed help and I needed teamwork. I learned that lesson. I tried to do it on my own and I would have died. But what would you have done? What did you learn from sort of like the Sister Ines? Did you see that twist coming? Because it really painted out a stereotype that the nun was good and these big burly tattooed men were bad. And it turns out it was the exact opposite. How was that? What did you think about these new crawlers being introduced? Cool, moving on.
Well, yeah.
I liked.
Yes, Colleen.
I liked going against the stereotypes like that because my sons, everyone just assumed they were all gangbangers, and just by their appearance alone. And yes. I also had a lot of students that people would look at, and if you didn't know them, they might be really intimidating. But when you get to know them, they're really decent people. So we judge a lot just by looks.
We do, yeah.
And that's not even reasonable.
You're right, Colleen. You're exactly right. Vaden?
Oh, I was just gonna say I like the characters. Like I think they did a good job of like showcasing the gods, because that was one of the points, right? They want to showcase. They did stereotype things. They also like showcase. Okay, the gods are a big part of this book now, the divine, and so they, Sister Ines hates all these gods and all these false gods. 2 of the characters are worshiping Ogun, and then we got to see what happened with the shrines, and that all play out together. Plus, I feel like I don't know. It's just a guess, but I feel like she might have actually Ines might have saved Pause by turning to a flag because you can take it with totem to the next floor.
Yeah. It did feel so malicious though, because it was so out of nowhere and she just struck him. But it was like he was going to die. But then I think we are taking Carl's bias into consideration because he was disgusted by the notion. He was like, she's essentially made him a puppet. He's not in control. If he wanted to go, he can't. Like, she's now completely in control of him and his existence. And there's a real sense of wrongness around that. I kind of fall into that as well. I found it's, unless he was like, hey, let's brainstorm. If I'm about to die, I would rather be a card. We don't know if we were even privy to those conversations. We're not sure. But Sailor makes a really great point. I would have let Mongo attack while Sister Inez was frozen. Anton warned them about her power. So she has the ability to charm others and to coerce and persuade, right? Now, if we've learned anything about doing book club with Maude Garrett for 4 years, the power of persuasion's fucking evil. You shouldn't be able to manipulate people and control people's minds. I would kill Sister Inez. I would do it. Sorry, Colleen, you made such a strong point. Yes.
I have a counterpoint.
Yeah.
To killing Sister Inez. I feel like one of the lessons that Carl and Donut have been learning is that having the more consequentialist mindset isn't, oh, we're back to consequentialism, Jeff, isn't necessarily the thing that pays off in the long run. They're realizing that sometimes doing the quote unquote right thing of like morally as opposed to like logically correct thing is what actually nets them the bigger win. And so maybe that's sort of what's guiding Carl's principles here, instead of like just offing Sister Inez after seeing that she's psycho.
Got it.
And rant.
I mean, he's also been positioned in these recaps as being sadistic and horrible. He doesn't really want to add to that either. Like, I mean, everything has a consequence. And who was it earlier who said, KP Dubs, knowing Matt Dinnerman, he doesn't introduce anything without meaning something eventually. Inez will return to help or to harm. Time will tell. Kate says, I'd kill her anyway. I don't trust nuns the way that Donut doesn't trust Havana Browns. There you go. The thing is, it's like if you are going to cause an uproar and scream at a god in game with this new set of rules because you can't let go of your old life and that can cause harm to others around you, you're a liability. If you have no control and your actions can hurt others. But yeah, that's another one. Occult Stool's in the house. Hey, buddy. Lovely to see you. T-Bones is out, though. Good to see you, T-Bone, as always. I posted something in Fable about this point in the book as well. You want to share it? Because it's not spoiler?
Yeah.
Jeff?
So while they're fighting and then they're deciding what to do with Inez, Carl has this thought. It's in italics in the book, and he hears a thought in his head that says, we can party with her. It wouldn't be so bad. And then the next line is, the moment I thought that, a chill washed over me. Now, when I read that, I immediately thought back just a couple chapters earlier when like they're in the shrine and they're deciding which one to fix. All the gods are talking in their head. And then the one says something like, Carl, I can heal that like crashing in your brain. But then the like supposedly mute god says, she can't heal a canyon that's dug this deep.
Wow.
Not what you think it is. You're just like me, Carl. I can help you. You're just like me. So I'm wondering that a stray thought that popped into his head
was a god?
Maybe he was something. I don't know what's in his head, but at first I thought he's just like, we got to get away from Inez because she could charm us. But then I thought of that other thing, and I'm wondering if there's something else in his head, and I don't know what.
Well, what lives in people's heads in this universe?
Gandhi's. The Valte words.
He's sort of eating a bunch of them, like a bunch of those like things. He's taking them, like because I'm taking them. Those things.
It's very Baldur's Gate 3. Anyone?
Yeah, it actually is.
Mm-hmm. The last thing I want to say, because we are wrapping things up here, Shia Maria. Why do I always say Shia Marie? It just sounds better. Is it Shia Marie or is it Shia Maria? Shia Marie.
I thought it was. When I read it, I thought it was Shia, but it could be she.
It's Shia Maria. Yeah.
At least that's how Jeff Hayes pronounces it.
I like Shia Marie. It just rolls off the tongue. Yes, Colleen. She bad.
I have a question about pause.
Yes.
I'm wondering, since he was on the verge of death when she flagged him. Yeah, when she turned him into a card, is he going to be still on the verge of death and in that much agony when she releases him from the card?
No, I think he's going to be fully replenished because that's what happens to all the other totems. They become a fully playable, replenishable character. But every time he's going to feel and live all of the things happening on those battlefields. And when he dies, his card's going to be discarded. And then when it's a new game, he'll be fully restored again. So he's basically like living a death over and over and over and over now, instead of being on the precipice of death constantly. I don't know which one's worse. It's a bit warped, I think. All the other totems seem fine each summoning. Yeah, but what will he remember? I mean, the Raoul, the crab, and the monk seal still have animosity, so they've still got their... I think they remember all of it. Did they mention if the cards are only for this level or will carry over? Jay Bunt wrote, great question. If you go down a level, in your deck with your 6 totems, you are able to select one totem that you can keep into the rest of the game. So Sister Ines, we're wondering, is she doing this as a way to preserve Paz and hopefully keep him alive?
I think...
Yeah?
I was going to say, like, I think one of the reasons I think he's going to stay alive, Paz, is, like, besides obviously Ines won't caring about him, is like, Carl talked a lot about his ability. He has Paz's ability to do, like, a directional blast.
Yeah.
And it's mentioned a number of times that it's super powerful. Like, those directional blasts in general are awesome and really extremely powerful. He, what's his name? Carl wants to actually specifically try to master crafting items that can do that or modify the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I feel like the only reason it's mentioned, even though he doesn't get a chance to use that ability, is because he's going to come up later on. So I feel like it's intentionally like he's going to come back and use that ability and blow something up like crazy. But
I think the yam has something to do with that. Personally, I think I am what I am, says KP. I think the yam is an ingredient in something that can help crawlers absorb others' abilities and powers. So that's why I think there's emphasis on it. Do we need to cook the card? In a chowder? I think there's something there. I think that there's an ingredient. Why is there so much emphasis on this yam? What can they do? When you look at what the cookbook has been doing entries of, there is a mention of being able to get abilities. And I think it was even mentioned by the pacifist organization slightly, like, why isn't he getting this? Why doesn't he? I was on the subreddit, so I was inundated with from the pacifist sponsor a couple of books ago. Exactly.
Yeah, why wasn't a random crawler who has no direct communication with us not getting our, so overt hints?
That, I mean, they think that he's reading the cookbook and extrapolating. They think it's crystal clear for him. Red Dog Gaming, good to see you here. We're talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl, Book 6, The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. We are wrapping things up here, but lovely to have you. We're going to be finishing reading this book, and same time next week, 5 till 7 p.m. PT. We don't need to yammer on, says Sprinkles. We're going to be talking about the whole book, full spoilers. Maria, is obviously going to be a big part of the second half of the book since the book is named after her. What do we think of her as a character? I think we kind of all touched upon it. She scares us to living tears. She's got something brewing in her back pocket. She wants to be taken to the next floor. Aaron, what are you thinking?
At the first time she was introduced, and she's like, first it's like she seems like she's completely mute, and it's like, how is Samantha talking with her or something like that? And then speaks in Carl's heads, and it's like, oh, shit.
She's scary.
Like
Miss
the way
Necker...
Jeff Hayes is like presenting her is like terrifying.
I have artwork. Oh my god! Oh, that's a jelly bean from ages ago. Where did I put? Here it is. I have collected a series of artwork. This one is from. This was really hard. It was on the Reddit, the Dungeon Crawler Carl subreddit, and it was from artist9120. Who did a sketch of this one saying the creepy neck is my favorite part. I also have been finding lots of other artwork. Someone did an AI version of Donut and Mongo, which I thought everyone needed to see because she's got her tiara and her necklace and her glasses that she wears. So I loved this fan artwork as well. We also have, she brought slides. This is someone's art. Oh, caution. Why would you do this? Why out of all the things you could do, why would you do that? This is someone doing Katia. So there's the crown of the sepsis whore right there, but it's like also when she had the mohawk and when she's got the darker hair. What is the ghost next to her though? Is this her child that died? Christ. Ugh. Her missing fingers and a blitz stick in her hand. But I really liked the artwork for Katia because we don't get enough of Katia. We don't see her on any of the book covers. And what else? Did I have any other artwork that I'd saved? Yes. One thing that I found really fascinating is on the Dungeon Crawler Carl fandom page. It has a class selection in here. And if you look at it, can I make it really, really big? You've got Master Psychic, Earth Mover, Trickster, Trebuchet Commander. I don't know. There's a Frost Maiden in here. So I think that these are some of the classes that other crawlers have picked. And there's like some artwork behind it. I don't know how real it is or not, but I thought I would include it.
I'm sure it's AI.
Yeah, probably. Toaster Poster says, is it weird to anyone else that Carl and Louis are the same age? Carl, I feel like Louis had a lot more of a cushiony life. He's just a stoner bro, whereas Carl has gone through literal hell. So Carl growing up a lot faster than Louis can make sense.
Also, he was in the Coast Guard and had to do the boot camp stuff, so that can take a toll on your
I mean,
appearance.
I'm 29, and I'm like, I don't know, I seem a lot older. So, yeah, you just don't know.
You're just so wise.
So wise. So wise. Aaron says, if this book ever fully gets adapted, I hope it goes animated. No, it's going to be a TV show. Ooh. Good water. Not for 2 more weeks, Kate. Give me those 2 weeks. I swear to God. I have 2 more weeks left of my 20s.
Don't look in show chat.
No, I'm addressing it. I've got 2 more weeks of my 20s, Kate. Trust Kate to come back guns fucking blazing and hit me with that one in the chat. The disrespect. I think that's everything. Your homework? Finish the damn book. Oh, thank you, Terry. Just keep mum about that. Shoo. It's just a number. Yeah, but you don't have a career in front of a camera, Kate. Your whole career isn't dependent on never fucking being able to age, Kate. Game Wizard says, too late. I've already finished. The book. Who else has already finished the book? KP Dubs, Jeff, Baden, Terry.
It was too good.
I mean, I already read it last year, so me.
The better question is, who hasn't finished the book?
Kate's got 10% left. Katie, you've finished it, says Brush Kid. Your husband's outing you in the chat. Sailor's already finished the book. Darren finished it last week. Lisa only made it to chapter 33. How much of this did we spoil for you? Odette.
I don't think you really spoiled much. I mean, I made it to right after they killed Fairy.
Okay, perfect.
That chapter.
Great.
Yeah, so like I don't think there was much after that you guys talked about, so.
J Bunt Rock, new achievement. I did the exact reading assignment, says J Bunt Rock. Fantastic. Well done. Hero Pat, thank you for using your Prime to subscribe again. I really appreciate that. Lovely to have you here. The problem is we're wrapping things up here. We're going to be raiding into someone else's stream who is live at the moment. And what do we feel like watching? Baldur's Gate 3, Red Dead Redemption, MMO.
Gaslight me, Jesus.
I actually think that I'll Kill Your Mother. What was that one of the Samantha ones?
I'm going to kill your mother.
I'm pretty sure that was in this book. Was it? I'm going to kill your mother. That was, I think, in the audiobook for this one. What are the other donut ones? I swear there was another one. This is an outrage. I mean, Donut has said that like 7 times. I said it in the fable, but earlier on.
This is an outrage.
There it is. Donut's so much more brattier in this one.
Mongo and Kiwi are appalled.
Oh, that was such a funny use of no earlier. Occult still says, I've got like an hour left of Razor Girl by Carl Hyacin, and then on to book 7 next. I'm pretty sure, did you post that in, is it either currently reading or... I think you posted it in currently reading, maybe? Everyone says, Mongo is appalled in the chat. Who do we want to raid? Anyone? Fortnite, Darkest Dungeon, Lockdown Protocol, Ratchet and Clank. Oh, Speedrun, that's sick. Steven Spawn is on.
Hey, one thing we forgot to mention is Tina's mom is pregnant.
When did
Dinosaur
When did that
hooked up with early in this book?
It was early?
Oh.
Yeah, Mongo's going to be a daddy.
Mongo's. They said there's like Quasar said it. There's bets on what's going to come out of that woman or something like that.
Oh my lord above. Well, Mongo's got swimmers, strong swimmers, it seems like. They went for it. The evidence was there. We got a play-by-play on that one. Who was it? Jimmy, you were wanting dragons to get it on in Fourth Wing? Mongo did it for you. Dinos.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
Fantastic. Who do we want to raid? We don't have to. We can just go to bed. That also sounds really nice. Cool. All right. See you all next week. Finish the book if you haven't already. Oh, we love Dungeon Crawler Carl around here. That's for sure. All right. Bye, everyone.